team. Are we missing anybody?
Shelly.
Oh,
She's on her way to Destin, Florida.
really?
Yeah.
What are you guys going to Destin, Florida for?
Well, I'm supposed to be gone too.
You just haven't left yet.
Surprised you're not really here.
Oh, you really want to
I
know?
really want to know.
So we're going down there for Circle of Champions with Setemanali.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, it'll be a good event. So part of the continuation of immersion was these events. So I think this is about my last one.
So what do you do in a Circle of Champions? You like guitar and sing?
Chant. No, it's they bring
Kumbaya
a-
around the fire pit.
It's a lot of masterminding and a lot of speakers and stuff like that. But I like to get away at least once a quarter for a few days and really business plan. And it's a perfect time going into the fourth quarter for me. So that's what this retreat is going to be for me.
It's very cool.
You gonna try to sneak into Costa Rica from there?
It's not that far.
That's what I'm
Short
saying.
swim.
And speaking of
Wrong side of the country.
Setemanali, can I just butt in and say he will be the guest speaker at the general membership luncheon. Last week I said it was October 7th. Everybody said, yeah, that's Friday. That's wrong. It's Friday, October the 9th. So very dynamic speaker with very close ties to our company. So please RSVP now.
Did you set that up?
No, I did not. Tom did. Tom
Really?
Blanchard, yeah.
That's awesome.
No, he called me to get in contact with him, but yeah, he set it up. He spoke at the state leadership.
Yeah, I remember
when
that.
Tom was going through it, or he was a dean or something like that, or one of the
That's awesome.
trustees. So.
Very cool. So, it was kind of an interesting Friday last week. One of the things that I took away from following Facebook was that Janet's Instagram got hacked.
Yes.
You know what? A few people on the board did.
A lot of them got hacked.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
You
what?
didn't know that? It was
No.
all over our Facebook page.
The only one on my Facebook page was me going, I think you've been hacked.
I think you're on the wrong account.
But I saw the comments going back and forth, with Ashley telling everyone don't worry because Janet doesn't log into Instagram anyway, and then you
I
told
don't.
Ashley don't say that.
And then Daryl Braswell's gonna coach you, or he's got you all worked out, so it's
Yeah.
all good now.
No, he called me and very nicely said, I think your Instagram's been hacked and I'm gonna report it. Is that okay? And I said, yes, Daryl, please report it because
Yeah.
I've deleted the whole thing.
Interesting thing though is that I think there's some sore losers in the election.
Yeah.
Because they attacked you guys on your Instagram pages and they set up a fake Craigslist account for me. I'm giving away free phones and free furniture, so if you see Brandina out there selling those things, it wasn't me.
So they put the name Brandina and a false phone number, and you're
No,
giving away
my
free
phone
stuff?
number.
Oh, your
my
phone
phone
number.
number,
Yeah,
so
of
they
course.
contact me and says free, and
That's not very creative.
Wait, but
I mean,
did you sell them a house?
I did.
No.
I got two leads out of it.
We got 2 leads out of it.
No, but seriously, I just think it's funny. I didn't get a ton of calls, but there was a couple text
who has
messages.
time for that?
But Craigslist still works. Remember we used to use Craigslist marketing? You put your phone number on there with the property. Don't you have to pay for those ads?
For properties, but probably not free cell
Not for
phones.
free. Free is free.
It's not even a cheap way to get to you. That's crazy.
so-
Well, I was going back to the topic of being hacked, and that's happened a lot. We've had agents with their Facebook accounts be hacked, their Instagram accounts. No one ever hacks LinkedIn.
Or my account. Just
What's
kidding.
LinkedIn?
Yeah. Well, the important thing I think is to monitor your profiles to make sure that you're changing your password on a regular basis and making sure that if you have a username out there that you're checking up on yourself. But I didn't have anyone offer me $3 million, so I'm just going to put it out there, and there's no
Oh,
prints.
did I offer $3 million?
I don't know. I'm hoping.
But the other thing on
I'm
that
collecting.
is if you're already friends with somebody and you see that they're getting more friend requests or
Yeah.
they're requesting to be
No
friends with
photo
you,
on the profile, and they've had it forever,
yeah, just let the person know because it's probably hacked.
for sure.
Well, and I think this brings a bigger point too in when you're sitting in the office, we've talked about this a couple times, when you're in the offices, don't leave like your Facebook open, don't leave, not that we're gonna hack anything, but it's a public area, right? So if you're using the computers at the office, log out every time of everything, including your MLS. And that, I think it also goes for your own computers and your
Yeah.
own laptops. Completely change your passwords. I know that when we had REO accounts, they used to ask us, like, what are you doing for security purposes to make sure that people aren't viewing properties or things about properties that we've sent you, right? And that came right from the REO companies. And it was, we always turn off our computer before we walk away. And
Sure.
it's, just things like that.
Yeah, good stuff. So, can I do open houses?
No.
I mean,
Yes.
you can, but
You
they're
can.
illegal.
They're illegal right now, but you can do that.
So
Please
okay.
don't do them.
Yeah, don't do
because they
them.
are illegal and you will get in trouble.
So I got asked last week, so we, Marilyn Kirkpatrick, who's the chairwoman of the county commission, she's always the chair, she's also chair of the COVID task force. And so they've made a stride to open up open houses for our industry, and they've got a whole plan for it. There's a 5-point guideline where you have to, one at a time mentality. You can't have more than 4 in the home at one time, including the seller, the agent, a person that walks in, and some random person, I guess, I don't know. You have to have all of your COVID gear on, your mask, probably gloves,
Your PPE.
PPE, all done, and you must register for tracing, and all of those things are set up in those guidelines. But the problem is, the COVID task force can only make things better. They can't lessen restrictions that are already put up in an executive order. And so the governor's office actually has to approve it, and so we're waiting for him, which it should be this week, hopefully, from what they've said. Patiently waiting.
I was going to ask, are we waiting patiently or impatiently?
We've been very impatient. We've kind of turned to the mob with pitchforks and torches now, and so we get it. We're cognizant that it's a problem, and included in that is tenant-occupied showings. They're really trying to lessen
God.
the restriction on that so that we can show those homes
How
as well.
about tenant evictions?
Nothing on the eviction. I think that'll go all the way through January.
So right now, it's
Wow.
extended till October 14th from the governor's order, and then the CDC is the end of the year.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Brutal.
If you own a rental and you have a tenant who's taking advantage, that's just brutal.
I had a tenant this weekend that told me that he was gonna have me prosecuted if I tried to evict him, and I was like, well, you're in violation of the lease in 3 different ways. So,
And not just the rent. I read that email.
Oh.
It's nicely written.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
You'll
was
be on your
pissed.
Christmas
I was
cards.
pissed. I responded back to the client saying, you'll hear from our attorney. Then I forwarded to the attorney
Govern yourself
saying,
accordingly.
yeah. I
Make
must
sure
have-
he hears from you
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah.
But to go back to open houses, so right now you should not be doing them. They are technically illegal by the order, but we don't have an open house police. So don't send me emails about people doing it. Don't send me photos of them. There's nothing I can do other than report them to the city, and I don't want to, report agents to the city. I mean, there's nothing I can do there on that standpoint, but should be in a week. So if you don't have open house signs and you plan on doing open houses, now's a good time to get your signs together. And once they do open it up, why do agents do open houses? I got asked that the other day. We were supposed to tell the governor's office, what's the value of an open house?
Exposure.
Exposure, okay, so more people coming through the property.
So exposure of the property, sometimes it just makes the seller feel good because you're doing something,
Seller satisfaction.
Value for the commission,
right?
client satisfaction, yeah.
I think the reason that agents do them is because they can sit somewhere and clients literally come to them, right?
So business attract,
So, yeah,
okay, so but
Sure,
that's
you
a
said-
self-serving type method, right?
right. I mean, I think that there's a combination of reasons,
Do you think it's momentum if people see activity in the neighborhood, activity starts to happen?
possibly.
Yeah, that's hard to explain to the governor, but I believe that.
Well, if you're trying to explain it to the governor, it's just about customer satisfaction. I mean, we get paid to do open houses on our listings, and we need to have the ability to get more people through the property, and that's how we have to do it. I mean, unless he has a better way or some other method of getting multiple people through a property in a short period of time, so we don't overly inconvenience the seller,
That's right.
then, we don't really, that's the,
Convenience factor
yeah,
for
I
that
mean,
seller. too.
the wheel has been invented. It's called an open house, and we need to get that wheel rolling.
So I thought of it, I didn't use this analogy per se, but this is how I thought of it. Like a car dealership, we all know that they're closed on Sundays, right? And if you want to really check out a car without any hassle, you go down on a Sunday, you walk around, you stare in the windows and stuff, but then you get all excited about the car, and now you want to get in it, and there's no one around.
Yeah.
And so right now we have unlimited Sundays in real estate because everyone can drive by and look, but they can't go inside and touch it and see it, very easily. And so I think, when do people buy cars? Monday through Saturday,
Yeah.
usually, right? And so it's the idea of they're open. They're open for people to come in. They can actually go in and see how it looks, the furniture, the whole thing,
Well, and
without any commitment.
And the general public needs somewhere to go before church and after church, right? And
That's
on
true.
Sundays, they stop in.
So the sellers are getting tired of them looking through the windows
Yeah.
Monday through Sunday.
I've had clients say that. I'll just go through and look through the windows. I'm like, no, don't do that.
People live there.
All right, well, the whole thing is we're closer than we've ever been. That's a
I
politician's
feel like you
answer
said
right
that
there.
last week too.
Well,
Every day we
So
get
we're
one day
closer,
closer.
yeah, we're closer
Can
than
we
we were
just-
last
This
week.
week than last week.
Yeah.
Could we just say this, as soon as you're able to do open houses, you're gonna hear
I
it
tried that.
from us. We're gonna be telling everybody in the company multiple times, multiple ways, read your newsletter, right? I mean, we'll send out a company-wide.
Read your newsletter.
Read your damn newsletter.
I mean, the
Did
bottom
she
line
give you
is,
$1 to say that or what?
the minute that it's available and you can go do it, we're gonna let you know.
Yeah.
So
It'll be on Facebook, it'll
attention.
be on the.
So the only other thing I have to add on the state level is that we're having my second, I canceled the first one, my second state board meeting. And during this meeting, we're gonna have the elections. And so if you didn't know it, the state officers are not voted on by the membership, they're voted on by the elected directors to the state board. So there's like 39, 40 directors. Actually, I think there's 44. And they vote for the state officers. And, that's how you move through this. And so, those local directors that you just elected are going to vote for your state leadership. And that's kind of how the flow goes. And then the national directors vote for the national leadership.
And the state
That's how a bill becomes law.
board's made up of all the
There's a song for that.
local boards.
Some.
right?
So like in GLVR, we have like 18 director seats, and usually the local presidents, they appoint the state board. And so we've all usually appointed our board of directors, and then there's extra slots. Like Janet had extra, I had extra. Tom didn't have a lot of extra, I don't understand that, but
I'm his extra. He had 4.
he had 4 extra.
4, yeah.
So, you appoint people to the state board, and that's how you get on that.
I wasn't Janet's extra.
And this year,
Ryan was my extra.
I've never been an extra,
Yeah,
just
doesn't
saying.
matter. What
yeah, you've been very
Till next-
Not from Chris or
Till 2022.
Janet.
There were only so many slots, and we weren't having open houses. So, but just to be clear, this year, Tom Blanchard, a lady named Diane Brown from Northern Nevada, and Marissa from Elko, they're running for vice president, because vice president becomes president-elect, becomes president. A guy named Trevor Smith from Incline is running for treasurer unopposed, so he'll probably win that one.
He's got a good chance.
Yeah,
Chance.
and then we have a state director for the North that's elected by the board. I think Gail Krolik's the only one running for that.
Right.
So it's kind of cool. Yeah.
So if somebody wants to run for a state position, can they just do that, or they have to be appointed
You have
first?
to butter up a local president, and that's
And
the way you'll
then
get
you,
on.
you get in, and then you can start to advance.
You could, yeah. They've actually only had one person ever be state president who wasn't a local president, and I can't remember his name, but it was a long, long, long time ago in a galaxy far away.
But you can't do that now.
Well, and here's
You
the
can.
other
Well, you
interesting
still can, huh?
Yeah.
thing about this election for the state, Chris, is Southern Nevada is like 80% or more of
Yeah.
the state realtors, and we only have one person running. So if our one person, Tom Blanchard, does not get selected as vice president, Southern Nevada, which is 80% of the
Unrepresented.
realtors, will have no representation on the state board.
On the
Well,
executive.
on the
Elected
on the
executive
elected
board.
executive, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's happened. I mean, we've had multiple years where it's been Northern president. It's funny because you think having the majority of directors, we'd always win. Well, there's a 60-40 rule where 60% come from Southern Nevada, no matter how the makeup is, and then they have to have enough directors to make up 40% of the board from the North. And that was like a mediation they had 20 years ago, right? And so the problem is that the blocks of these groups never always support each other. And so it's quite interesting
The
how
clicks?
the
When you say
clicks.
blocks, you mean
There's
clicks?
clicks, yeah.
So you're current president,
Yep.
so it,
I have
like,
minutes to go.
like in the local, is there a past president position that you'll move into at the state level?
Yeah, I'll be a
So we'll have
feather
some-
duster.
We'll have a little bit of
A
representation.
little bit.
Yeah,
a
but
little bit.
he forgets, like, he's done.
He's done.
He's checked out.
So
Checks out in October.
it's still September.
Still September.
So a couple of other things, just a reminder, your MLS dues are due for local. They're already on your billing, $300 for that. And yes, that's more than usual because they doubled it 2 years ago. That local president just didn't care. And then
That was
MLS
you.
fines.
Yeah, it was definitely him.
No, I'm pretty sure.
No, it was you.
It was you.
It was
Was it me?
100% you.
But
Yeah,
let's,
she was one
hold
year
on, let's
ago.
be clear here.
I
It's
didn't
not
double it,
up
the
to
MLS
one
committee did.
person to increase or decrease dues, right?
That's-
But wait,
It is
I've
part
heard
of
of
a-
people running on their campaign on the whole fact they were gonna lower the
Yeah,
dues.
they don't know what the hell they're talking about
Oh, they
because
didn't know.
it's a vote by the entire board. So it's not one person can't make that decision. One person can
In-
start the discussion of the decision, but
In fairness, MLS dues have not been changed in almost 25 years. And so if you look at the cost of doing business and the service it provides, if the service could be better, more innovative, and easier to use, it was worth an increase.
Well, I've been in it for 15 years. Can I get mine prorated? Like,
No.
or do I have to pay the full 25?
And let me tell you what else is concerning. MLS fines are on the rise because we're seeing, I know I'm seeing in my email, a ton of MLS
my gosh.
violations.
Oh, wow,
brutal.
yeah.
Yeah, so make sure that, you're cognizant of it. Like we said a few weeks ago, it's on your sign-on in the MLS. There's a little tab that says my violations.
And it turns red, by the way.
It does.
I don't know that by experience, but it does turn red
That means it needs
if
attention.
you need to do something with it.
And you only have 2 days to correct it. Used to be 5, but
Yeah, I
2.
think that's why we're seeing an
Two.
increase
In the fines.
in the
yeah.
fines,
Yeah.
because you only get 2 days now. Is it business days or calendar days?
Business.
Business, yeah, that sounds right.
So the weekends
believe
don't
it.
count? How about Saturday? Trid said Saturdays count. Is it
we're
a
not
Saturday?
TRID rules.
Just when you get it,
Well, why
take
are you
care of it
confusing
immediately.
people?
Don't wait 2 days.
Don't wait 2 days.
Don't
fix
do
it
the
today.
math?
No.
Wait, okay, I have until 5 o'clock, yeah, no. Yeah, just take care of it, it's pretty simple.
So I put on here, we've been asked a lot of questions online about, the market, what's going on, and what do you believe? And we talked a little bit about that before, but what's your take on the market? I mean, it's a hot market, we know that, right? They say it's the hottest market for new homes in 14 years, so that's interesting. Interest rates are the lowest they've been ever,
Well, why do you think new
Ever.
homes are so popular?
because they're
You
new.
can do open
Because
houses.
they can do open houses, they're open every single day.
that a setup?
right? That's exactly right.
Hope you listen, Sislak.
I guess, I wonder if the
Well,
new builders are
what's
putting
gonna
some money
happen
in
is
the
the
account.
new builders are gonna stop doing open houses because they're gonna get in trouble now.
They're not.
It's by appointment there.
It's by
Appointment
appointment.
only.
So I mean, we can do the same thing. We can do open houses by appointment only.
It's a little harder, but yeah, you can.
The logistics of that don't even make sense though, right?
Well-
I'm gonna sit outside with a table that says open appointments,
Well, stop by and
So
set
there
an
is somebody
appointment.
that's done that.
yeah?
Yeah, there is somebody that's done that where they'll be outside of the house, standing there, being like, "Well, I can make you an appointment if you want to go look at it," and then take them in 2 minutes
I'm
later.
free in like 3 minutes.
I'll be standing here
My
for another
appointment in
2.
5
Are you
minutes,
free?
Just cancel, I can go.
Seems like a lot of work.
All right, let's
We're
go.
close.
Let's go back to the point. The point is that inventory is still extremely low, and we saw sales actually tick up. And so inventory is low, interest rates are low, sales ticked up, new home sales are hot. What do you think is going to happen?
This was your section.
Oh, it was? Yeah, no crystal ball here. Here's the thing. I've been telling a lot of clients who say, should I buy now or should I wait? Well, your interest rate's really low right now, so why wouldn't you buy while interest rates are low, right? Get into these properties.
Sure.
You can probably get more of a home at the current rate and get the same mortgage payment.
Let me add one other thing. When we started the year in January, the median price was $318, and now it's $335. So that's an uptick of 10%. And so even if the market had a correction, real market corrections are usually at 5 to 7%, we would still be above where we started the year, even if they corrected 7%.
Well, so what traditionally happens with interest rates after an election? I mean, in November, we're having the big
This
election.
is not a very
right?
traditional year. I don't know if you
It's
noticed.
not,
There's
but
a
what-
whole
With or
thing
without
called
a
this
pandemic, I just
COVID.
wanted to-
Traditionally, what's gonna happen with the interest rate? Like, what do most people expect the interest rate to do?
Well, I
Go
think
up.
usually interest rates stabilize after an election because they're trying to stabilize the market based on what happened, but we would hope they'd go up, right?
What I remember seeing is that they keep them low before the election because that makes the current president more popular with with the public, right? And then they do have to
not
tick up
working.
just a little bit.
It's not working.
I don't know if it can work. I'm just saying that's traditionally what's going to happen. So with a 0.5% increase
Yeah.
in the interest rate, if
Makes
it
a massive
goes up
difference.
over the first part of the year, and we do see CoreLogic just announced that they expect by June or July of next year that we'll see a 7.8% decrease in home values. Now, I don't understand that because
Still your point.
June or July is when we start to see things really start to take off. And so I don't know how they pick June or July. I mean, they're way
Either do
smarter
they.
than me, but
Well,
no, I mean, they're a lot
No,
smarter
I think
than
they're
me,
going
right?
based off the delinquencies on the mortgages.
Yeah.
And that's what they're predicting.
And those are up a little bit, right?
But remember,
Significantly, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Zillow and a consumer confidence group back 7 months ago forecasted that we were going to hit a market crash, right? Remember that? They came out
Yeah.
and said, there's no way Vegas sustains or the whole
Well, I
thing with
remember
COVID.
because I couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah.
And I actually said, no, we're gonna see multiple offers and we're gonna see people
we did.
buying houses
And we did.
crazy.
Yeah.
So what's your
Right.
prediction then, since you're doing this right?
No, I'm not doing it right. I'm just saying I remember that specifically because
Just
I
not
just
doing it
couldn't
wrong.
believe they
Just
announced
not
it.
doing it well. There you go.
Well, I just think at 7.8%, even if properties did go down 7.8%.
We'd still be above the trend.
And the interest rate went up 0.5%, which is likely to happen.
Would you still buy a
You're
house?
still in a better position today if you buy a house today
Yep.
than if you wait a year.
Yeah.
Because you always have to have a place to put your stuff.
It just mathematically makes sense
Yep.
if you do the math.
All right, I got some broker questions for you guys on here that came off of our signature Facebook page that I figured that all of us could, give some input on.
Nobody answered
I,
that?
I always like these because we get a little bit different answer from each broker. This is always
This
fun.
is what they call us all.
Okay.
Potpourri.
All right, so the first one comes back to, in this hot market like this, there are a lot of times sellers put their home on the market and they're concerned about price and they want the most for their home and they put it on and they get all this activity. And so sellers sometimes get seller's remorse. And now they want to pull the home off of the market. How do you fight seller's remorse and how do you prepare the seller so they don't have it?
Wait, so they get seller's remorse that they had too many showings and their home is actually going
Yep,
to sell?
they think, you know what, I'm gonna take it off, I'm gonna put it on for more later, or I'm gonna raise the price
We've
because there's so much
underpriced it.
activity. Even though you priced it above comps anyway, and there's no way it'll really appraise, which we're seeing, the seller still wants more. How do you prepare them for that?
I haven't had that issue.
I think you start, first of all, by controlling the message that we all put out on Facebook that we sell homes in a day or two.
Yeah, that's true.
And so then when you sit down in your listing presentation, you prep them on your marketing strategies. And the best thing that we can do is get the multiple offers so that we can get you a higher price. But based on what I'm doing now to market my properties, this is common.
Yeah.
And so that they're not shocked, because all of a sudden you get these people come in, it's been on the market for a day or two, you get multiple offers, of course, what are they gonna think?
Yeah. And if
Yeah,
you
if you-
explain the market, they'd know that, right? If you had that
And
conversation.
it's a conversation around appraisal, right? I mean, it still is going to have to appraise. There isn't as much cash in the market today as there was a year ago. We're not seeing as many closed through cash as we're seeing more financing.
Yeah.
So
'Cause
it's still
interest rates are
going
so
to
low.
have to appraise, right?
The other thing is like when you do the comparables, if you click on all the comps, right? And there's this button called stats. You click on that, it goes to tabular. It actually tells you how many days on average homes are selling in for that neighborhood.
Wow.
What?
Wow.
Yeah. So
Nobody
you-
pays attention to that.
No, so I actually take that with me, it tells you what the price per square footage on average, the median price, what's the highest, what's the lowest, and it gives you the days on market. And it gives you an average and it gives you a median days on market. And I take that for those reasons, right? Not necessarily the price per square foot.
And that's why you don't have that problem.
Well,
Right.
and
Yeah, I just-
also in our listing
I
consultation.
also don't let them out of the contract, so they don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And I'll go
All right, I'll leave it.
I'll go back though, the reason I said be careful about what you put out on Facebook and that, because it diminishes your value.
Yes.
Because if everybody is selling homes in a day or two, then it must just be really easy to sell homes and I'm paying you too much money and you guys are taking
Why can't I
advantage
just
of me.
sell it on my own?
Right,
Owner first
so
sell by owner,
that's
right.
why it's important.
Mine always comes back, people forget the reason why the seller's selling, right? That all along, their motivation is the only thing that you need to keep consistent. Listen, I've created a plan that got you the most for your home. I got you buyers that came into the property, even without open houses. And you said you needed to sell this home for these reasons. Why are we deterring from the plan? And I think the biggest problem is most agents don't lay out a plan.
Right.
The plan is that I'm going to prepare your home the best way possible. I'm going to present it in the best light possible. This is the market we're in that I'm going to present it, so it's going to be a hot market. We priced it this high, even though it won't appraise, but we're going to shoot for it. So we're on track for everything that's in the plan. There's no reason to think that you're going to get more because no one can pay it. None of these offers were cash. They were all conventional or FHA or other reasons. And so I think that's important.
Yeah, so let me say just real quick, I ran into a situation last week where the property went on the market at $375, which was a little bit less than what the seller wanted to put it on the market for.
I'll give you 300.
But it was what it appraised for. So the seller actually went and got an appraisal done prior to listing and it came in at $375. They still wanted to list above that. our agent was able to get them listed 375. One of the offers that they got was 425 cash.
Wow.
Wow.
Now, here's what I want. Yeah, it's wow. Like, yeah, this is great, right? Everyone's dancing in the streets. But the reality was, it was a cash offer to get it under contract. And then they were going to start playing the game of trying to get the price to go down based on this and that and this and that. So I am seeing a lot of that in the market right now. I'm seeing a lot of people coming in and writing ridiculously high offers just to get it under contract, to secure the property, and then
To negotiate them down.
negotiate down. So what I'll say is, the highest offer today might not be your best offer, meaning it might not be the one that's in the best seller's best interest just because it's super high. Because likely it's not gonna come in at that price at
That
the
makes
end,
sense.
right? So be careful that, make sure you're vetting out the buyers, make sure you're talking to lenders, make sure that you're just doing the due diligence that you should do as an agent.
That's a great opportunity for you to have a conversation with your seller. If you want to take this offer, be prepared, this may happen.
Yeah.
And that way, when it does, they're not upset with you and you don't have to take responsibility for that because it's their decision, they accepted it, but you're prepping them for it.
And the more real life examples you have to prove that that happened, the better off you're going to be to present it. The other thing is buyers are doing that, right? I joke, I'll offer you 300. There are buyers in the marketplace right now that actually believe that sellers are going to take these ridiculously low offers because the market's going to crash.
Yeah, because
Right.
somebody said, yeah, the
It doesn't
market's
make sense.
going to
CoreLogic
crash.
said.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other-
I
But-
read in an article.
But I've seen the opposite situation just recent in my office last week, where despite the agent's best comps, their best argument, the seller's like, no, I want it listed here. And they have 10 showings in 5 days and nobody's biting. So that's another thing you need to be aware of too. It's hard in this market to get your seller to come down with a price that he knows he's going to get because it's such a hot market. But when 10 people show you a property in 5 days and nobody is interested, the market's spoken. It's overpriced.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I think ultimately it's always about motivation, right? I mean, this guy that's this particular deal where they just want to list it for more and for more, they probably don't have any motivation to sell. They're just trying to capitalize on the market, and that's okay. You should be listing those homes and taking those chances. Just know that that game's a little bit different than selling a house for somebody who's moving to Michigan for a job or something.
As long
right?
as it makes sense for your business though, because
Yeah.
there are some listings that should not be taken and they should not be taken by me, right? I've decided that, an unrealistic seller who wants to spend my time and my money, and my time has a huge value, right? If I'm spending my time with this seller that calls me incessantly, and that's what they do, they get up I can't believe you haven't sold my house. Why aren't you holding an open house? Why isn't my sign up? Why don't I have photos? I don't like the photos that you have. I don't like the description of the photos. They will do that and call for hours, and all it's done is take up all the extra time I would have had to find new sellers, right, for a listing that isn't going to sell. You got to be cognizant of that too.
Yeah, I agree. You don't take every one of them.
My next point,
sure.
what do they usually want to beat up on when something doesn't happen the way they want because they didn't have motivation and the market wasn't explained? They want you to give up your money. And they want to point at you and say, give up some of your commission and make this all better. And so we were just talking about that, and there's a lot of people paid in a real estate transaction, right? I mean, home inspectors, lenders, both buying and selling agents, all of the other people that surround those transactions. Why is it the agent always wants to, pull the money out and just give up their money before asking the rest of the group?
It's the easiest solution. They don't have to worry about the controversy of having a discussion with another agent about it. It's just, again, not knowing their own worth.
Because of the philosophy, some money's better than no money.
Yeah, yeah,
But a discussion that cost me $500 is worth it, right?
yeah.
No, I agree with you. I think
Yeah, but if people don't know their value to begin with, sorry, Brandon, if you don't know your value to begin with, right, then you're gonna have a hard time not continuously giving up your own money, because, and I think that's a bad thing from the I'm sorry.
no,
You go,
you're
and then I'll
okay.
go.
I think a lot of it is. No, I was.
You
no,
go.
I think a lot.
You go to Destin,
No, you go,
Florida,
you go.
right now.
A lot of it is the fact that they think the deal's gonna die.
Yes.
And what you don't realize is that buyer wants the house and the seller wants to sell the house. And if you just sleep on it for a day, chances are they're gonna find the money.
Well, that's I think that's a big deal. Is we
Time.
we make a decision, like agents give up, I don't, by the way, so I shouldn't say we, but agents give up their commission like, on just like, right, okay, I'll pay it, no problem. If they
Fear
would
of
just,
loss.
yeah, if they would just sit on it for a day or 24 hours as long as there's time in that deal to do that, it usually fixes itself. Someone usually figures it out.
I think the one thing I've learned as a broker over all of the threats and the harassment or the anger that you see as a broker in these situations is first thing someone does is threaten a lawsuit, but obviously they've never been through one
Yeah.
because they don't understand what it entails and how expensive it is.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't bother me anymore when someone says that. I'm going to sue if you don't do this. Okay, well, tomorrow let's see if you feel the same way.
Guess what?
The line's
I ain't
outside
scared.
the
Call
door.
me. I'll talk to them.
Yeah.
Go get in line. There's people out there that have threatened for years.
Yeah.
It's never gone to court, but
Yeah.
yeah, people just don't know what that
So
is.
time, a little bit, I think that's great advice. A little bit of time with everyone to reflect. Like people say when you go to a home and you present your net sheet or your listing agreement, you want to do it when you're not there. You want to do it in advance so that when they see their net and they see the commission, they get really mad. But by the time you get there tomorrow, just like a fight with my wife, we've all calmed down the next day, right? And we feel better about each other. And it works the same way with these disputes.
So what you're saying is,
Don't fight with my wife.
It always works the opposite for me. They never let me back
so,
in.
so time, I think also if you're struggling with it, and the first reaction is I'm gonna give up my money, call a broker, let us walk you
Yeah.
through the
Yeah.
process. Let us talk to you about what other solutions you can find, because the other agent could be willing to give up some money. You guys could meet halfway. They could be willing to give up all the money. I mean, we all want to get the transaction closed. That's the ultimate goal, right?
Yep.
And there's, like you said, a lot of people in the transaction. Let's figure it out.
And I think that the more you can spread the liability and costs out over, the better it's going to be financially for you.
Yeah.
So good stuff. Let's talk, one of the things that came up is lock boxes and access to them. And so it used to be, Janet, you might remember this from our board conversations and the rest of you, it used to be lock boxes were set from 8 to 8, right? You could open them at 8 and you could show them until 8 just as a standard setting. Is it still that way?
So it depends on, sorry.
Well, no, the agent
Janet,
I know.
can go in.
Go to Destin.
Janet,
The agent can go in and actually, on their dashboard, on their computer or central lock, they can set the times that
Or
they
whatever they
want
want, yeah.
to show, so it doesn't matter, but I think it starts at 7 now.
Oh, it doesn't? Okay.
7 to 7 or 7
So
to
that's
9?
what I was saying, is it depends on what time of the year we're in. So when the sun sets later, they change it, it goes till 9.
who changes it?
The sun.
Central lock.
Central lock. So it's
So-
not something I have to do.
No, it
Got it.
changes automatically to a later time at 9. So you can go show property up till 9 o'clock because the sun's still up till like 8:15.
How do they know?
They just do. I don't know what, I don't know who knows. I don't know who they are. I just know what happens.
They just mess with the lock
They
boxes.
screw it up, yeah, so it depends on the time of year. And then you can also change it. You can change it on your phone, you can change it on your central lock and on your single sign-on. You can,
Makes sense.
yeah, you
So
can make it 24
if it-
hours if you want.
If an agent is trying to find out how early they can view a property or how late they can view the property, the real issue is they need to talk to the agent that has the listing.
Yeah.
Because they may have changed it to
Correct.
something other than what's,
And if they get there
Standard.
after that and the box doesn't open because of it, the listing agent, if their company allows it, could issue a one-day code that can give you access at any time. So that's important to know too. The other question that was on there is what's the best way to buy a box? Now, I know that 7845000, I can call down to GLVR, 7845000. That's the only thing I remember from my time. You can call down and get some boxes set up, and they used to deliver them. Do they still deliver them?
You can go down and pick them up.
That's cool.
they'll deliver them from the building to your car.
Yep.
Curbside.
Curbside. Now, a new box is like $148.
No.
Last I remember was 130.
About
I thought.
25.
Oh, they've gone down.
So clearly none of us know because you
I'm
never,
at like- I'm at
you
like
didn't prep us for these
160.
questions.
Well, no. Let me tell you the reason why I bring it up is because for a while, and I understand it's still possible, if you call down and say, hey, I'm willing to take a refurbished box, they used to have those.
Yeah, for like
And-
90 bucks or
Yeah,
something.
and it's cheaper, but I bought those all the time and they work just as fine, and I've never had a battery go out. That's not what I'm in trouble now. I've never had a battery go out on one of these boxes, and they're just like new. I mean, some of them look brand new because agents didn't have any listings to put them on, so they sold them back to the board.
That's weird.
And so,
Well,
Batteries
plus,
out on mine.
the other thing you need
Never
to
mind.
know is Central Lock has 2 employees that they pay that sit in our board building. And when agents say, I'm getting out of the business, here are my lock boxes, pay me for them. Those ladies will go in, they will change the batteries, they'll update the firmware, so
See?
it's just like brand new.
But they will do that for your own
And they will
lock
also do
boxes
it for you, too.
Lock
Yeah.
boxes too. So if you have 17 lock boxes, you can take them all in if they're not on properties, obviously, or even if they are. take them all in, they will change all your batteries, update your firmware on every single one.
So, and Janet's gotten them to come to our office and do it before.
More than once.
So-
It's been disappointing that these ladies, the two of them, bring all these batteries, their laptops, and they sit in the open area, and 3 agents show up, and they stay all day. Then
The 3 agents?
no,
The two ladies.
the Central Lock people. So I've tried to make it convenient, but it's not worth their hassle.
The other thing is, if you know an agent's getting out of the business,
Buy their
approach 'em,
boxes.
buy their boxes, and watch for that. And if you're in the mode for them, post in some of the forums asking for them, you can get them pretty reasonable.
By the way, don't just buy their boxes. There are a lot of agents that move out of the business that have had massive successful databases, and they just stop.
Then why'd they get out?
Well, I mean, a lot of times it's they're
They
done
don't
with
know how
real
to work
estate,
their
they're ready to do
database.
it. But they have contacts, they have
Yeah.
people, and so see if you can get the people along with the boxes. It makes for a better
And their
setup.
open house signs.
And their open house signs. All right, one of the other things that came on the site is advertising listings. So I'm a signature agent. I'm taking a great listing. It's coming soon or it's here. And I post on Agents Signature saying, advertise my listing. The only thing that I wanted to point out, and we talked about it before, is that you should, before you give anyone the right to advertise your property, you should get at least something in writing, a text, an email, so there's no dispute later on the fact that they advertised it and that they put it out there and you don't like the way it was presented, right? We've actually had a few of those issues come back where they were upset about it. So you should do something just to make sure that you have a record. I'm using my hands today, a record that happened.
Well, and I've had a lot of confusion. In fact, just last week, somebody in the office asked a question about advertising somebody else's listing, and before I could even open my mouth, another agent said, oh, as signature, you can advertise anybody's listing that's a signature agent. And that was true, maybe the first year and a half
6
we
months.
opened the doors, but that has changed.
Sisolak changed it.
Yeah.
We can't blame this one on Sisolak, but,
Yes,
Yes, we can.
Now if you want to advertise somebody's listing, please get it from them in writing that they're allowing you to do so. Send
Well,
them an
here-
And
email.
let me
have a
just
group-
clarify why that changed. Originally, we didn't have a ton of listings in that, and then we've got some listing agents. And what we found was the agents were putting these things out and not giving a fair opportunity to the person that actually listed the property to generate some business off it. So we thought it was fair, and there are plenty of agents still that will give you permission to advertise those properties.
Yeah.
But we have to be considerate of that. And we also had a lot of sellers complaining because other people's names were attached to
Sure.
these listings
Didn't
out there.
understand why.
And it wasn't represented properly, or marketed properly. So that's why we changed it, so you get permission and everything's.
Well, so here's what I see on Facebook. I see somebody posts, I'm taking this great new listing, and here are all the unbranded photos, and
Yep.
you may market my listing.
Yep.
Is that sufficient in writing?
They
or-
should get the response back from the agent that says, I would like to do it, thank you. I'm gonna market your property and here's what I'm gonna do. That's what should happen. Because at the end of the day, like Brandon just said, we're responsible as the brokers to that seller. And if the seller sees something that they don't like or didn't anticipate because their agent didn't tell them about it, we have to explain it. And so if I go to you as the listing agent and say, why is so-and-so marketing your property this way? Did you know about it? And you're like, no, I just threw it on the site and said, go ahead and market it. That could be a problem.
So just real quick, so if they just respond on the Facebook post, I'm
Something
gonna
in
market
writing.
your property,
Screenshot it.
Yeah.
then you're good.
Then you know who's doing it.
Let's also remember though, agents need to get permission from the broker before they put anything out, right? All advertisement has to be approved by us. So if you've already gotten some template that's been approved, then you're both saying, that's an approved template. All you have to do is say, I'm gonna market it,
Sure.
right? But I think that if you're planning on doing something unique and different, like get approval from the broker, get approval from the other agent before you move forward.
If that's how you want to brand business, like you're gonna use these to generate leads, you want more of them. And so the more successful listing agents are in getting new deals, the more likely we'll have more opportunity. I don't know a signature agent that's gonna say no to another signature agent. I mean, it could happen, but I haven't seen it happen yet. And so the likelihood of them saying yes is really high. But would it be better off that they get to cycle the information back to their seller on all these things? We have an entire company of agents that are gonna market your listing, Mr. Seller. That's why you need to list with me. That's a selling feature. And if we're able to trickle the info back to them, that's how that listing agent can show real value without giving up commission, right?
And if you got ads that need to be approved, send them to Vandana.
Janet.
Yes. So this was a good question that came on, and it was Patricia Delaney's question about my client went through closing and they bought a home warranty on the property. And we closed, and about 3 weeks after, like it always does, that's why you need a home warranty, something went wrong. And so they called the warranty company, they sent out a service rep, they said it would be a window of this time to this time, and 8 hours went by and no one showed up. And so of course the client is really upset about the home warranty issue. So Janet, you're gonna remember this. We were sitting at a table at the alumni luncheon with Neil Schwartz. And Neil, we were talking about home warranties for some reason, I don't remember why. And Neil goes, don't know anything about them. And I'm like, what do you mean don't know anything about them? He's like, we don't sell home warranties, we sell houses. And I'm like, well, yeah, but if my client says, don't know anything about them. And I'm like, wait a minute, Neil, calm down, calm down. What do you mean don't know anything about them? He goes, we are not home warranty sales reps. We do not sell them, we don't promote them, we don't do anything with them, we sell houses. The more you know about a home warranty, the more likely you are to get into liability about it. Now, I don't know if I agree with that. I agree that if my client says I want one,
I agree.
I need to know some info and I need to present them with options, but they choose. But his whole point was that we're not in the business of selling them, so when they go wrong, we can't be liable for them. We're just facilitating the client. Do you remember that? He went back and forth for a while.
Yeah, and you might throw in too, this, Neil Schwartz became a commissioner for the real estate division, so.
Over that.
Yeah.
That was the main thing that got.
That was when he was on his way out.
That's
Home
what did
warranties.
it.
No, I mean, Chris, I'm in agreement there because, yeah, I mean, there are home warranty reps.
Yep.
And if my client has a specific question about a home warranty,
You go to the rep.
I send them to the rep. I mean, I seen her post and I didn't respond specifically because I don't want to be the negative. I mean, I was gonna respond and say, ask the rep. I mean, that's
Yeah.
not in our purview. That's not something we should be advising on because we're not home warranty. We don't sell them. That's just a courtesy that we provide as an agent by providing multiple options, letting them go read which one they want to use, and then they get to pick which one they want. So we don't pick it because
Yep.
we don't have a responsibility
don't
for
pick
it. So
Now, I know in this case, because of the conversation that Patricia didn't necessarily pick them, the client picked them, and so she's done her job there. But the whole point is that when this goes on, that's the reason why they recommend you give 3 choices. Because when the client gets upset about something like this, they can't point the finger back at you and say, you told me to buy this home warranty and now I don't like it. Now the question in the comment was, can I get a refund for the warranty? Can I get out of the contract because it's set up that way? I've never heard of anyone getting a refund from the warranty company.
They'll probably say no refunds.
Oh, I've done it.
Yeah, have you? Mm-hmm.
Not me personally, but I've had it done for a client, yeah.
Be careful.
Yeah, it doesn't happen all the time. There was an issue that arose that the home warranty should have covered and they didn't. And so as a courtesy, they had it refunded the entire policy, but continued to allow them to keep the policy.
Who did you contact?
The rep.
The rep, and the rep went through the process
Correct.
to do that.
Correct.
Now, using some leverage because they want to take care of us in the real estate industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't want that bad name, so they're going to sometimes go above and beyond for that. But I think this goes over to home inspections too. I see too many times that our agents and agents in our industry are referring only one inspector. And I'm going to tell you, if that inspector misses something big, that opens up your liability because you told me to use that guy.
And I think
Or
it's
gal.
presentation factor, right? Here's the inspector that I've used in these transactions. Here's this one that I found on Craigslist. Here's this guy, I just know his phone number, right? Presentation factor is everything, but I give you choices,
Yeah.
right?
So for us, we give 3 choices and I put my choice first. I mean, I don't say
And the
anything.
logo's bigger.
I don't say anything other than here's 3
Here's parts
choices,
around
here's
it.
their numbers, here's their websites, go do your research. And I always
Yeah,
put the
but-
guy I want first.
Todd, I don't care who we use. Just pick one and
Yeah,
have
no,
them do
I'm
it.
not gonna do it.
So the best way I've ever seen it presented is I had a sales manager that worked with me, and he had a great email where he said, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, I'm so excited about the acceptance of the offer on your home. Congratulations. Now we have blank number of days to complete your home inspection. Here are the links to 3 separate home warranty companies.
Was it me you're talking about?
No, it wasn't.
That's exactly how we handle it.
Here, click on these links and it takes you directly to their website with their comment pages. I've used all 3 of these home inspectors. They're fantastic. On my personal home, I used X. And that's how we set them out. I mean, with links to their sites, with the whole setup, the whole piece, There's no way anyone could ever come back and say, you didn't provide options.
By
Do
the
you have
way,
a copy
we
of
do,
that by
we,
any
I do.
I
we
want
do
it.
that with home warranty and we do that with inspectors.
It's a great option.
The initial email that goes out has both of those sections, and we need you to pick one of these people. We have this many days in your due diligence, please deposit your EMD, here's your escrow officer.
Yeah.
Like, it's an email, and there's two sections, one for home warranty and one for inspectors. 3 inspectors, links to their website, home warranty, links to the home warranty sites. And I just put the ones I would like them to pick first, because they're the ones I used when I bought my house.
So the answer to Patricia's question is, it's possible that with the home warranty rep of getting involved with them and escalating through the company, that you could do something there to help the client by giving them the info. But at the end of the day, the lesson learned here is don't be the one responsible, be the source of the source.
Connector.
Yep, connector to it so that they can't point the finger back and say this is your fault. Last thing I have on here, we have agents that want to get into different fields of real estate. They want to get into commercial, they want to build a team, they want to do property management. And so I want to remind everybody that per your independent contractor agreement that you signed here with Signature, you cannot do commercial without broker approval and without an addendum to your ICA. You're not allowed to do property management because number one, you have to have a license for that. And so if you-
Permit.
a permit. And if you don't have a permit, you would have to get one. And if you wanted to do them, you would need to have a conversation with the brokers before you'd even think about doing it. And on teams, I want to build a team. Well, we do ask that you have some thought, some intention, some plan behind having a team other than I want to work with new people, right? And so all of us that have teams have created a team agreement. We've signed a rider with the company to allow us to do it. We have a complete plan for how the team members flow through the group, the services that we provide and above. And so those conversations need to be had before you do that. We put a lot of other plans into it that we've talked about. And so let's talk about why the agreements are important.
Well, first it's E&O insurance, right? I mean, if you're jumping.
That's a big one.
If you're jumping from residential real estate and you're trying to go do a $4 million commercial, guess what? Your residential E&O insurance doesn't cover commercial transactions, right?
Correct.
I mean, it's a different E&O policy.
And there's
so-
a split on commercial, by the way. It's
Well,
not.
it's paid out differently, but
Yes.
I mean, legality wise, you're leaving you and your client wide open for some pretty serious liability because
And
you
the
don't have
brokerage.
insurance.
Yeah, and the brokerage more
So
important.
they're two different animals, right? When you're doing commercial versus residential, they are two different animals. You cannot tame both of them unless you've got assistance, right? If you're going from residential to commercial, somebody's got to help you with that. You can't do that on your own right away. It's impossible. I actually started in commercial when I first got into real estate. Good Lord, it's a massive difference, right? So don't try to, it's, again, the liability, don't try to tame that animal on your own because it's going
like-
from a cat to a tiger.
It's like TV actors that make it into movies, very few do it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They see the big dollar signs. This is gonna be a huge deal. I want it. I don't want to split it
Yeah.
with anybody. I'm just gonna go do it. And in reality, it could end up costing you a heck of a lot more than you'd
Your
ever
business.
make. Could cost your business for sure, but
can
also
lose
when
your
you stop
license.
doing your residential and you start chasing these commercial deals that may or may not happen,
Go broke.
and a lot of times they don't, you're out.
Let me put it this way. Every commercial deal I've ever been involved in, the person buying or selling the commercial deal had way more money than anybody that I've ever done a residential deal for, which just says they have an attorney. And they're much more likely to come after you for something that you may or may not have said or did or whatever that looks like. So it's a legality thing, right? I mean, you really got to cover yourself because you could lose your whole career.
Yeah.
I mean, it could-
People-
Code of ethics too.
Yeah, people talk about it never happening. Janet goes to every commission meeting. How many times have you seen a commercial agent up there that said, oh, it'll just be fine? They had no skill at all. They didn't know what they were doing. And now they're in front of 5 commissioners that understand that they didn't know what they were doing, and they're going to take their license away or fine them $200,000 or $300,000.
Well, that might have happened 5-6 years ago. Right now, all we see is property
Property
management.
management,
That's
property
true, too.
management,
I was-
property
Which is
That's
management.
another
even worse.
reason why not to be doing property
If
management.
you're a residential agent just trying to get into property management, you can't do that without getting a permit from the real estate division. Can't do that without actually having a discussion here. I mean, I don't even know if we're hiring property managers right now.
Liability
We've got-
factors,
Yeah,
things.
we've got a pretty decent portfolio. You've got to have an accounting system in place, and that's what everybody's going down to the commission for. That's what people.
But
are
we're
getting
not saying you
invited
can't
for.
be productive, right?
No, that's what I was just gonna
That's
say.
what people need to
We want
understand.
we want you to grow your business. We want
Yeah.
you to jump to a commercial deal.
Just the right way.
If that opportunity present. I mean, we want you to grow. That's not what we're saying here. What we're saying here is
Do it the
when
right
you go to do that, you need help. Do it the right way. You've got to be in the right position with the brokerage. Come to a broker so that we can tell you what that looks like and get you going.
And don't
in
do it
right
the day
direction.
before you're signing the agreement.
Right.
Well, and here'd be the other thing, if you truly want to move down the commercial path and get better at that, that's one thing. If you just want to do a commercial deal and wants everyone to help you through
A
that
one-up.
one deal,
Yeah.
that's not the right way to do it. Refer it off, get a referral fee, and move on.
And I've negotiated some amazing commercial referral fees. I'm not kidding, I've gotten 50% before because I found a commercial agent that excels at one aspect and they can make the deal happen like that, and I connected the people together. It's about the value I presented. And so would you rather get 50% of not having to do any of it, or have to do all of it and not get anything at the end?
There's also a difference too of saying, well, I've got this person that mentioned one time in passing that they wanted to buy a church, here's a referral fee, I want 50%.
Yeah.
That's not gonna happen, but as opposed to having somebody that's ready to buy or ready to lease, and it could be a
Pretty
different
packaged.
scenario.
Yeah, I
They're-
referred the
they're
seller,
motivated.
I found the buyer, I got them together.
Yep.
I mean, you didn't do anything but handle paperwork, so yeah, I got a 50%.
I get
That's-
paid a lot to handle paperwork, so don't discourage people about
I
that,
understand,
okay?
but what I'm saying
at
is
it.
I don't want you to give agents an unrealistic expectation that they're gonna get 50%.
Call me and I'll help you find out how you can get
So,
some.
and I just want to say one more thing too, is you have to be educated. I have an agent that called me, maybe 4 weeks ago, and said, everybody I talk to wants me to find a commercial lease for them. And I said, well, you can't do commercial. And he said, how can I do commercial? I said, you need to start by taking commercial courses. And in the past 4 weeks, he has taken 3 commercial courses. He is serious, this is the direction he wants to do, but he's not just jumping in and getting in over his head and not staying in his lane. He is getting
And
educated.
we have a commercial mentorship program
Yeah, I
here,
was just
so
about to
that
say
you
that.
can, you're going through classes because you need to be educated, because if I give you a terminology, you don't know what I'm talking about, how can you learn? And so we have people who have stepped up and have agreed to be commercial mentors. And so your first couple of transactions, I don't care what they are. I don't care if you're selling the convention center, you would still want to have someone with you so you know what you're doing.
Convention centers for sale?
Could be for the right price.
I don't think it is.
It's all about money for
I
you.
door knocked that listing.
Did you?
Yeah, no open houses.
I walked that listing.
No refunds.
That was good.
All right, well, as always, we try to bring you a lot of value of information and stuff that we're dealing with. And as you can see, it's been another robust week here at Signature. And Brandon will be out of town, so make sure and call him with anything that you need. And all of us are always available for you whenever you need it. So, Shelly, take it away.
Happy Tuesday, everyone. We are here at the live and on location at the airport, about ready to board. Just wanted to jump online and say happy Tuesday. Also wanted to chat a little bit about some of the programs that are making a comeback. We've got our jumbo financing. We have 2 investors now that are coming up with a 10% down payment, as well as home equity lines of credit, so we can bridge that gap for our jumbo financing. If you have any questions about this or any concerns about any financing, whether it's jumbo financing, down payment assistance programs, you name it, you know where to reach us. Feel free to reach out to one of your Prosperity Lending loan officers. If you're looking for Tony Asquith, Beth Peters, Gabby Dela Cruz, Jared Penn, Shelly Panzarella, Myra Talley, and Shannon Davenport. Hope you all have an amazing day. Take care and stay safe.